the old man used to work doing insurances for the Dragons back in the 70s and the 80s. Very good close mates. He's passed away. Close mates with Johnny Bailey, Beagle Bailey. I'm sure you
Yep.
remember Johnny Bailey and
Yeah,
Johnny
he's my
Chapman.
coach.
At West
Yep.
back in the day. But mate, I just want to say congratulations to you on the extension, mate. I did an article in the Mercury supporting you. So I was so happy that you're our coach, mate. And I know it's Rome wasn't built in a day, so I know that we'll get there. We'll get into the finals, and we'll get back up there again under yourself. I just want to say well done to Kyle Flanagan, your son, because I thought what Ben Hunt did to us was terrible. Basically walking out on us, didn't want to be with us anymore. But I'm excited about Daniel Atkinson, mate. I think Kyle's done an admirable job, obviously at halfback, but I can see. I'm guessing is Atkinson going to be the man to steer the ship with Kyle next season and run the team around the park?
Yeah, the first bit, thank you on the extension bit. I think as a club, like, don't get me wrong, the last 12 months or since I've been at the Dragons, it's not what I want. I want to play semi-finals, and I've been through this situation before at the Sharks that, I took over in 2010, and by 2012, every year we play semi-finals, and I think they have since it there as well, and you need to set that up. We're in the setup stage. We've set it up. Next year, I'd like to think that we go better again. We went backwards a little bit this year when you talk about the table, but we just talked about injuries and so on that affected us, and young players playing first grade. So moving forward with Daniel Atkinson, he's a bit of a surprise packet, I hope, because he didn't play at all this year. As soon as he signed with us, the Sharks only used their four spine players, Brayley, their two halves, and obviously their fullback, Kennedy. They played every game together all year bar one. Wow. So they didn't have any injuries in their spine. There was one game that Nico missed that Atkinson went in, and Atkinson went on in a couple of games as a centre. Went in at different positions. But if you go back 12 months when we signed him, he was actually winning games for the Sharks. He kicked a field goal. I remember in a semi-final, he was actually making breaks and winning games for the Sharks and being part of the winning part. So hopefully we're getting a player that. I know he's definitely hungry. He's a young, lovely young man and motivated, and he's definitely coming to us without a big season behind him, and he's super motivated to get it done. If you talk about what position he plays, I'll just have to see how he goes. My theory on that is, I've got a 7 and a 6. What number on their back is really not important. Kyle's probably that organising half. He's not a game breaker, as I would call him, as a half. He's a game manager. So, hopefully Atkinson can be that bit that can, make breaks and, be that little bit of point of difference for us. Obviously, come through this year, had some good moments, but had some not so good moments. But remembering he's 19 years of age, so he'll only get better, or 20 years of age, he'll get better. So I'd like to think that Daniel coming into us is something new and fresh, and I'm excited.
And he spent some time with Bellamy at Storm too, mate. So it's a good coach to be under.
He's a good sized as well. As a half, he's got good strength through his hips, and he can break tackles. He's got a good kicking game. He's a right-sided player, so that's all. It's all good for us. If it is Kyle and Kyle's played enough on the left, he can get it done on the left. So, I'm excited by it, and hopefully, he can take us to where we need to go.
And he kicks field goals too, Flano.
Yes, which we need.
Yeah, 100%. 6 games he lost, mate, by 6 points, and 3 by 1, I think it was, mate. So, how many games were we so close in, like what you said? But thanks for
we actually only went for 1 field goal. It's not like we can't kick them. We never got ourselves in a position to kick. And the game that sticks in my mind is South Sydney. It was a period of time. South Sydney were awful at the stage, and they just threw it to their halfback, and he didn't know what to do, and he just kicked a field goal with about 7 or 8 minutes to go, which ended up being the difference. We did score after that, and we just couldn't get into position to have a shot. And then the dreaded day at Parramatta Stadium where Zach kicked the field goal. So it was only twice we got in those positions, but it's something that we need to work on. We practiced it a fair bit, but didn't get to execute it.